edition, you know, of the richest man to be reviewing chapter 3 of this book. Us how to make money, how to keep money, and how to make our money work for us. All right, so please sit back, relax as we go through this review together. So chapter 3 is titled 7 Cures for a Lean Purse. In chapter 1, we saw two friends who were wondering what they could do about their situation. They were tired of being poor, and they suddenly realized that their friend, their very good friend, their childhood friend, was the richest man in Babylon named Akkad. So they decided to go to him to learn how to become rich. So in chapter 2, they went to him, and Akkad told them how he eventually became rich. And from that chapter 2, one thing that stands out is that he had a desire to become rich. And when the opportunity came for him to actually become rich, that desire attracted that opportunity. So he said that everything starts with a desire. All right, so now we're going to learn 7 cures for a lean purse, or in our contemporary days, we can say 7 cures for a lean bank account. How can you fatten? How can you fatten your bank account? Right. So this chapter started when the king of Babylon, the good king Sargon, was wondering after he returned to Babylon, when he had defeated his enemies. He was wondering why the people of Babylon were so poor. Right. And to him, this was a very serious situation. So he decided to ask the royal chancellor why the people, the royal chancellor, why the people were so poor. And the chancellor told him that after some major projects, the temple was completed and some other major projects were completed in Babylon, the people became very poor. They were not really getting money or income again since that project ended. And this gave the king a very big concern. So it was his desire that the people would become rich. And it was also curious as to why only a few men in Babylon were rich while the majority were poor. So he asked if anything could be done, and he was advised that there was a man named Akkad who actually happened to be the richest man in Babylon. So the king asked that they call Akkad, and Akkad came in. He was 70 years old. He answered the king and came in, and the king asked him if he could teach the people of Babylon how to become rich like himself, and Akkad agreed. So he decided to teach them. So the king was very happy because this can be taught. Akkad said that people can be taught to become rich. So in case you have the desire to become wealthy, you can learn. There are secrets to this. And thankfully, we're going to be learning these 7 secrets. So Akkad agreed that for 7 days, he was going to teach people. He told them to assemble 100 people. There is a hall called the Temple of Learning in Babylon. So he told them to assemble 100 men that was going to teach them how to become rich. So for each day, he taught them one cure for a lean purse. So let us look at the first cure for a lean purse. Number 1 says, start thy purse to fatten. So in essence, the first cure for a lean purse is for you to keep 1/10 of all you earn. Do not spend everything that you earn. The people that he was teaching recognized that Akkad did not have 2 heads, that he was a man just like themselves. And so they were wondering how he was so stupendously rich while they were wallowing in penury. So he told them, if you want to become rich, and this is a lesson, we're not just reading now. These are practical lessons that we also have to take home and start working on. So the first thing to do, if you want to become rich in life, is to start by keeping 1/10, at least, that is the minimum. If you can do more than that, you do it. But at least you keep 1/10 of all that you earn. You must not spend it. No matter how pressed you are, temptations are going to come. People are going to come flashing very beautiful things in your face. Oh, come and buy this, come and buy that. That is when all kinds of expenses will be showing up, and the temptation will be so strong for you to spend that money. If you can overcome that temptation, then you are once you are, you know, you have crossed one hurdle in your journey to wealth. You have crossed one hurdle. So make sure that you exercise great discipline, self-control, no matter what. And one thing that Akkad said was that when he started putting away 1/10 of all that he earned, he didn't miss anything. Nothing changed. He was still able to live fine without that 10%, right? Because even if you spend that 10%, if you are not disciplined, you will still discover that the remaining is still not enough to meet your needs. So this is the starting point. Just be saving it somewhere and keep it where you will not easily have access to it, such that you're going to be picking it every time and you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to start again. So if you desire to build fortune for yourself, is it not wise to start by utilizing that source of wealth which you have already established? So he told them that they all have at least one source of income. You start from there. That's your salary that you're collecting. That is the starting point to your wealth. Don't spend everything. No matter how little you earn, right? Start with the money that you have at hand. You are not going to build wealth with the money that you're expecting to come in 2 years' time or 5 years from now. No. You build wealth from the income that is coming into your purse, into your bank account right now, no matter how little it may be. For every 10 coins that thou places within thy purse, take out for use, but only 9. That means 90%. You want to pay your tithe, you want to pay your children's school fees, you want to eat, you want to buy new clothes, you want to fuel your car, whatever. It must not exceed 90%. That 10% remaining should not be touched. Okay? And it said that because this sounds very simple, a lot of people are not going to do it. But the truth is always simple. People like it when you give them an advice that sounds very complex. They think that is what works. But the truth is that some of the simple things that we overlook carry so much power that can change our lives. I remember a story in the Bible, a man called Naaman, who was a leper, and his servant, a maid, told him, I have a prophet I can take you to. And the prophet said, go and take a bath in the river 7 times. And he didn't want to do it. Like, it sounded very simple, like just take a bath in the river. But thankfully he did it and he became healed. So don't ever overlook the simplicity of anything. Right. The number 2 cure for Olympus is this: control the expenditures. Control your expenses. You're probably spending more money than you should. And how do you control your expenses? You have a budget. You must work with a budget. So if you have a budget for this month, for example, if anything crops up that is not within your budget, exercise great discipline and don't start spending outside your budget. If that thing is not a matter of life and death, it should wait. That is how to discipline yourself. If you keep changing your mind every now and again, you're not going to get anywhere. There are some people that start saving money today, and by the following month, they have the need for it, and then they go and remove the money. They spend it. They start from square one every time. They keep spending the money. And if they look at it critically, those things that they are spending the money on can be done without, right? It is just lack of discipline. So control your expenditure. Don't confuse the necessary expenses with your desires. There are some things that are just born out of desire. Oh, I want this and I want. They are not needs. You must separate your needs from your wants. Anything that you can live without, let it go. Those extra subscriptions, those, extra hangouts every now and then, you take a bottle of drink, you eat out, every Friday. You can control all of that. Save the money instead. You may look at it that it is small, it will amount to nothing, but no, that is actually the starting point. So work with a budget. You will always have many desires, and you cannot gratify all your desires. And he too is saying that because he is rich, a lot of people would think that, oh, he can actually gratify all his desires, he can meet all his needs. And he said, no, no matter how rich you are, you still cannot meet all your needs. You still cannot have everything that you want. You cannot fulfill all your desires. Right? There are some things that you cannot even do with money. So forget about those desires. Work with a budget. Control your expenditure. That extra clothes that you want to buy this December, think about it. You may buy it now, and you may discover that you don't even wear it in the next 5 years, right? Like this clothes I'm wearing, I can't even remember the last time that I wore it. This is just a perfect example. I cannot remember the last time I wore it, right? So most times you just buy things and you see that after buying it, do I really have need for this thing? But if you have a budget, it will really, really help. And one of the things I told myself this year is that I'm not going to acquire clothes. I'm not going to acquire clothes. Let me even rock all those clothes that are in my wardrobe that have not seen the light of day in like 2 years, 3 years, some 4 years. You know, you bring them out again, you iron them, and then they are new again. So sometimes if we look within, you see that extra thing that you want to buy, you already have it. It is at home. Somebody is doing a party. It's not a must to buy party uniform, ashrebi, like we call it in Nigeria. It is not a must. Wear what you have. You buy it now and you never wear it again. So control your expenditure. Touch not the 1/10 that is fattening your purse. No matter what, don't forget that 1/10, the first cure. You must not touch it. Don't go and remove it to say, I want to please this my neighbor that is celebrating her wedding. Let me use it to buy clothes. The number 3 cure is this: make thy gold multiply. Now, saving money is not enough, but that is the starting point. It is the money that you have saved that you can now multiply, right? So now that you have crossed that hurdle, you have disciplined yourself to be putting aside 10% of your earnings. Now, how can it multiply? How can it bring more money for you? Please, I want you to remember that these are practical steps that you must take. This is beyond a book review. Remember that he is teaching how he became wealthy to the men of Babylon. He's teaching them. And we are also learning this. So we have to work with this. So don't see it as just another book review. Now you are learning how to become rich. You are learning how to change your financial situation for the better. So multiply your gold. Think of the investment that you can do. Now your money must bring in more money. The money that you're saving, the 10% you've been putting aside, must bring more money. He said that his first investment was unfortunate. He gave a brick maker his first the first money that he saved for 1 year. He gave it to a brick maker to buy jewelry, and the brick maker was scammed. Was giving pieces of glass for jewelry, and he lost all the money. The second investment that he did, by the time the returns came, he used it to enjoy himself, to flex. You know, it was the third time that he started getting it right and not spending the returns on his investment. He was even able to roll it over to get compound interest. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, according to Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, I hope I got that right. 8th wonder of the world, right? So if you don't have any urgent need for the returns on your investment, roll it over. Let it bring you compound interest. So now that is the third cure. Let your gold multiply. Invest it. Every money that you save must bring you children, and the children must bring grandchildren for you, and the grandchildren must bring great-grandchildren for you. That is one way to actually become rich. And he told the story of a man here who invested, I think, how much? 10 pieces of silver when his son was born. And by these 10 pieces of silver, and it was to get a quarter of that amount every 4 years. By the time that child was 50 years, The money had multiplied 17 times, right? The power of compound interest. The fourth cure for a lame purse is this: guard thy treasures from loss. Now that you have saved, now that you have controlled your expenditure, now that you want to make your money or your gold multiply, you must guard it from loss. Make sure you do your due diligence before you put that money into any investment. And don't be moved by get quick rich scheme. They are all deceitful. At first, you may be getting very may be getting exorbitant returns, but it is not sustainable. Most times they will allow you get it once, twice, and then they pack up. Your money is gone. So don't be greedy. It is better you put your money where it is safe. At least your capital must be safe. Even if you may lose your interest, make sure that you secure your capital. You can get your capital back, you can reinvest it. But to lose everything, don't do that. So the first sound principle of investment is security for thy principal, the capital, the principal, right? Make sure that you study carefully before parting with your money. Make sure that you seek the counsel of those who know about money and investments. Don't be carried away by anybody sweet talking you or cajoling you into anything. If anybody is trying to rush you into any investment, that is no pressure. It is your money. Think about it, pray about it, seek counsel until you are convinced, right? Because truly, there is no investment or business without its own risk, but we want the risk to be minimal, right? The fifth cure for a lean purse is this: make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. That is, own a home, build your own house, or buy a house, or get it on mortgage. At least you know that you have a place, a dwelling place that you can call your own. If you are married or if you intend to get married, your wife and your children will be able to run around without anybody harassing them or measuring their space, or you cannot go beyond that part and all of that. Instead of you paying exorbitant amounts to your landlord or landlady every year or every month, you can get a mortgage and you know that you're actually paying the rent to own the house. Okay? Although some people believe that having your own home is not a form of investment, it is not an asset. But for me, I think that it is a good idea, especially if you're paying so much for house rents. You're paying so much for house rent. If you put all of that money together, you may be able to buy a plot of land and start developing it. I don't believe in having a very big house like people do in Africa or in Nigeria precisely. They'll have a 6-bedroom apartment for a family of 4. Mommy has his room, daddy has his room, the 2 children have each room to themselves, and they have 2 extra rooms, made another one guest room. And once the children are all 4 rooms, they are just like, right? I don't believe in that, because once take into consideration the future. Now you're going to be paying more money to maintain those rooms. You'll be paying somebody to come and clean the rooms, right? That is a waste of investment. That's one I consider to be a waste. And even if you want a big house, build it in such a way that when the children have left home, you can demarcate the house and rent out a part to be generating income for you. So you have to think this thing through. Don't just build a house because, I want people to know that I have a big house. If you don't need the extra rooms, then don't put them there, because it's going to become a liability. The house is just going to be redundant. So build a home as little as it can be, where you have peace of mind. Your wife can do whatever she wants. She can have a garden, your children can run around and all of that. So own thy own home. That is the 5th cure for a lean purse. You don't have to build it. You can buy it. You can get a mortgage. You'll be paying gradually, but you know that you are renting to own. After paying for a certain period of time, the house becomes yours. I think that is something wise, right? The 6th cure for a lean purse is ensure a future income. You have to plan certain investment or provision that may endure safely for many years. Right. And there are different ways that you can ensure a future income. You can buy a land to resell later, or a property, any assets that you can resell later. You can put your money into it, maybe real estate, whatever. You know that in the future it would have appreciated. You can resell it when you have retired. You'll be enjoying yourself. You don't have to be relying on your children to send money before you can eat. You can buy shares, you can buy stocks, you can do treasury bills, you can any investment that is safe. Just put your money there. Be putting aside every amount consistently for your future. It is very important. A lot of people become old and they act as if old age just came upon them suddenly. Like they didn't know that they were going to become old, right? And they suddenly realized that they have nothing secure that can sustain them in their old age. They are retired, the children are not doing well, because some people believe that children should be their retirement plan. No, it is wrong. Our mentality for in Africa sometimes is wrong. That there's this adage that tokete badagba omo ilumamamu. That means when a bush rat, I think kete is bush rat. When a bush rat is old enough, it's now going to start sucking breast. That means we rely on the children for feeding and all that. It is a wrong mentality. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Not the other way around. Not that the children will now be feeding the father or the mother in their old age. No, if you're a good man, you will leave an inheritance for your children, not just your children, your children's children, right? You leave an inheritance for them. So start putting aside a certain amount of money, start investing for your future. You also have a future. We look at the old people today and we have forgotten that before we know it, we too are going to become like them. A time is coming when you are no longer, when you will not be young anymore. You may not have the energy to work like you're working now. And the author is even saying that as of the time that, the time of Babylon, there was nothing like death insurance. And he was already saying it that he wished that there would be a plan like that to insure against death. So that as a man, for example, by the time you are no more, your family will not suffer. They will have something to fall back on. The South Africans do this a lot. A typical South African person, a typical South African will spend money on death insurance. They'll be putting money aside for when they are going to die because they don't want the family to be burdened with funeral responsibilities when they are gone. So once they are gone, the family will just go to the insurance company and take the money that this person has been contributing and use it to plan his or her funeral. That is what they do. They believe so much in death insurance. They believe so much in it because they want to have a befitting funeral. They believe that a befitting funeral is very, very honorable. They don't want to be buried anyhow. So they will faithfully be contributing money for when they will die. They don't want the family to now be burdened. Hey, come and contribute. Everybody is taxing one another. Hey, come and contribute for grandpa is no more. No, they plan their own funeral. So you may also start thinking about that. You are not going to die young. Don't worry. It is a way of planning for the future, right? You plan it. You write your will because we just never know, right? Even though we operate to live long, but you just never know. Just be putting something aside and do it consistently, no matter how little. The next thing is the last one. I hope I've not missed anyone. Okay, the sixth one, ensure your future income. The last one, the last cure for Olympus, increase your ability to earn. You can actually have more than one stream of income. In fact, it is too risky to have just one stream of income. So increase your ability to earn. Maybe you want to sharpen your skill. You want to learn another skill. You want to get a second job. You cannot just rely on just your salary or one source of income. That's your business alone. is what is bringing in money. No. So increase your ability to earn. If you want to go back to school, go back to school. If you want to learn an extra skill, learn it. If you want to work harder so that you get a raise at work, do it. You want to take a professional course so that your employer will be able to increase your money, do it. But just know that you have the ability to earn more than you are currently earning. If you look within, if you are hardworking, if you are serious about it. The richest man in Babylon, Akkad, said that when he was working as a scribe, he found that his colleagues were working harder than him and they were making more money. So he determined, he proposed within himself that none of them would work harder than him. None of them would work harder. So he started working hard. He started putting in the work. And before he knew it, his employer noticed it. And they gave him a raise at work. Unlike a young man who once came to him and said, oh, I want to borrow money. And they asked the man, why do you want to borrow money? And the man said, oh, the money I'm getting, my salary is not enough. And I've gone to my employer, is it like 2 times or 3 times? And he will refuse to increase my money. So he refused to lend the guy money, to say, that is not the way. You cannot even pay back this money because the money you are earning is not even enough to live on. Now you want to borrow money, more money. What you need to do is to increase your ability to earn. Work harder. You don't have to keep going to your employer. Your employer is not seeing the value that you are bringing, and you are going there, please, can you increase my salary? If I were your employer too, I'm not going to answer you because you have to offer value. If you want more money, then offer more value. Sharpen your skill. What are you bringing to the table to deserve a raise, right? So he told that young guy, borrowing money from me is not what you need. What you need is to increase your ability to earn. Maybe you get another job, or you gotta sharpen your skill. Maybe you are very, very lazy at work and you are just looking for a raise in salary. No. So he now gave him this example that I just gave you, that when he too was working as a scribe, he was determined that none of his colleagues would work harder than him. And so he started working hard, and he didn't have to go and meet his employer. Automatically, he was noticed and he was rewarded for his hard work. So I urge all men to be in the front rank of progress and not to stand still, lest they be left behind. So don't stand still. Don't rely on that your certificate that you acquired from the university 20 years ago. What extra thing have you acquired since you graduated from the university? It doesn't work that way. Be open-minded. What else can I do? You've been on that job for 15 years. No promotion, nothing. And you are complacent. Don't ever be complacent. Don't stand still. You may be growing in age, but look, at other areas of your life. Are you truly growing? Age is the least form of growth. All of us will grow as long as we are eating, as long as we are alive. We will keep growing. Today I celebrated my son's second birthday. He's growing, he's eating. He's not the same boy that I gave birth to 2 years ago, because he's eating, he's drinking water. That was normal growth. It's physiological. Everybody's going to grow. But pay attention to the other forms of growth. Are you growing intellectually, spiritually, academically, socially, and emotionally, and otherwise? Are you growing? In terms of your career, are you growing? Are you progressing? So increase your ability to earn. So be thoughtful, right? These are the 7 cures for a lean purse. And it said that there is more gold in Babylon, my students, than thou dreamest of. There is abundance for all. There is abundance for all. There is wealth for you. Nobody has monopoly of wealth. If you follow these principles, start doing them little by little. Start with the first one. Be keeping aside 1/10 of all that you earn. Start from there. That is the beginning. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, that is all about chapter 3, 7 cures for a lean purse. Don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts with me in the comment section below, and please subscribe to this channel in case you are yet to subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady, and on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. I'm going to come your way. We're going to be reviewing chapter 4 of The Richest Man in Babylon titled Meet the Goddess of Good Luck. Until then, be intentional. Bye.